Can I lose weight eating carbs?
Yep. And today we're going to share with you how I lost 85 pounds while eating carbs. So stick around.
So we're back and we want to share with you the 7 classes of nutrients that we ate and still lost weight.
Yeah. Can we get a woohoo? Because I'm about to tell you what I ate while I was in weight loss mode after a difficult pregnancy. I had 85 pounds to lose. And just a little top secret tip for you, I'm in weight loss mode again after having another baby, and I've got about 20 pounds left to go this time. So I've lost about another 45.
So what is it, like
so
130 pounds?
125 pounds or so that I've lost by eating all of the 7 classes of nutrients, which we're going to share with you today. So let's dive right in. Well, first thing that we want you to understand is that there are 7 classes of nutrients. Now, what does that mean?
Well, that means that there are 7 different types of categories of foods that our body needs. And God gave us these foods. And so we want to share with you that, you don't have to listen to all the fad diet cultures that say you can't have carbs, you can't ever have chocolate, you can't eat bread. We believe in eating everything in moderation. We don't eliminate anything. And God gave us these 7 classes or categories of foods because if we don't have them, our body is lacking something. Our body is craving something. And so let's dive into what the 7 categories of nutrients actually look like.
Exactly. So let's just run through the 7 really quickly, and then we'll dive into a little bit more detail about each one. So here are the 7 classes: carbs, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals. Those 2 can get pretty tongue twisty on you if you're not careful. Fiber and water.
Okay, so let's start with the all, famous dreaded word, carbohydrates.
Yeah. We love carbs. I love carbs. I eat them every day.
I love bread. So carbohydrates can be, broken down into 2 smaller categories, which are simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates. Now, when you think of simple carbohydrates, I immediately think of foods like cakes, breads, anything sugar. Like if you go into a bakery, that's filled with carbohydrates.
Yeah, all of that stuff that, so many of us are addicted to.
Like the donuts.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of the processed junk, right?
Yeah.
Like chips, for example, is another simple carbohydrate that's not really doing your body any good.
Yeah, so it's broken down into sugar in your body very, very quickly. What it does, most simple sugars or simple carbohydrates are like 100 on the glycemic index value chart. And we're not going to get into that. That's another topic for another day. But these simple carbohydrates turn into sugar in your body very, very quickly. And it spikes your blood sugar level. That's basically what a simple carbohydrate does.
So, another good example of that probably is soda or pop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's a big one.
Yeah, yeah,
because there's like 44 grams of sugar in one 10 or 12 ounce can of Coke.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yikes. I know. As soon as you said it makes your blood sugar go up, and then you have that crash, right? Pop is the first thing that I thought of when you said that.
And then, your insulin has to kick in, and that is releasing this hormone that's cortisol, which is the fat storage hormone. So simple carbohydrates, we just all know that sugar is not healthy for our body.
Exactly.
So let's go into the complex carbohydrates. What are some of the foods that are complex?
It's things more like oatmeal, like plant-based foods that are like kind of in their whole grain state, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So like beans is another one, lentils, lots of fruits, like an apple is a complex carbohydrate.
Or a banana. We often talk about bananas and how so many women are like, I can't ever eat a banana again because it's got too many carbs. But
that's right.
We're here to tell you that it wasn't the banana that made you sick. It wasn't the banana that made you overweight.
No, absolutely not. But the complex carbohydrates they don't create this blood sugar spike in your body. They're more evenly distributed in your body. So it works a little bit better for your health, and so that your insulin doesn't have to kick in so quickly and so much. You don't get this sugar rush.
And so I would probably say it's more of a sustained energy, right? Rather than that whoop.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we're looking for, is sustained energy. That's a really good term. We want the stuff, the foods, the nutrients that nourish our body and fuel our body and sustain our energy.
Exactly.
That's very well said.
So that's carbohydrates. So you can eat carbohydrates and lose weight. In fact, I eat carbs every day. Okay. I eat good bread that is a more complex carbohydrate than that horrible white bread that's filled with chemicals and processed junk that many people are eating today. And so, you know what? Carbohydrates, our body needs them.
Yeah.
And so when you tell yourself you're never going to have carbs again, like, oh my goodness, that's craziness.
In fact, we always like to say, you know, when Jesus fed the 5,000 or he fed the crowds of people, what did he give them? Manna and fish. That's carbohydrates.
Exactly.
In fact, it's the three big macros. It's carbohydrates, protein, and fats.
Yeah.
So let's go on to protein, number 2.
So we probably all know what protein is, but some of the major sources are like eggs, meats. It's being said these days that the healthier proteins are lean meats,
poultry, fish, seafood.
Yeah.
And then there's the almonds or nuts.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of variety. There's dairy as protein. And so, you know, this incorporates a lot of different foods, but those are a few of them.
Yeah.
And protein is really good for your muscles. You know, that's just simply put, it does way more than that, but in simple terms, it helps to build your muscle. And you don't want your muscle to wane, because we need muscle in order to even go for a walk.
Exactly. So again, protein, do we need it? Yeah.
Yes.
The third category is fats. Now, fats, carbs, and proteins, like you just finished saying a minute ago, those are the 3 macronutrients. And if you think about all the fad diets that you've been on, they are probably centered around either increasing one of those 3 macros or decreasing one of those 3 macro categories. So you've probably been on a low carb diet. You've probably been on a low fat diet. You've probably been on a high protein diet. Maybe you've been on a high fat diet. I hope not, but maybe.
Yeah, you never know. But just so in case you were wondering what macro means, what it means is that these are the ones that you need, your body needs more of. So we need more of those top 3, which are carbohydrates, protein, and fats. That's why they're called macros, because our body really needs them.
Exactly. And so all those fad diets where you're increasing or decreasing how much of those 3 macro categories you're having, that's actually really not very healthy for your body. We need all 3 of those in proper proportions.
That's
right. And
I
always like to talk about, well, 2 examples with this. Atkins diet, the high fat diet, low carb diet back in the day, where you could eat like as much bacon as you wanted in the name of health. And that
that doesn't work.
No, and people lost weight doing it, but that's not about health. Okay. And so
it's not about portion control.
No,
absolutely. Moderation, which the Bible speaks about.
That's right. And the other big one that I always like to talk about is the low fat trend back in, like, you know, the 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And it was really around that time.
Actually, I think it started in the 80s.
It could have, yeah. It was really around that time when the obesity trends really started to increase, because what happened is manufacturers, the food manufacturers started making low fat foods, which meant higher processes, and it meant replacing the good stuff out of those higher fat foods with things like added sugar, in words that you would not recognize as sugar.
Yeah, it was things that actually harmed your body. Yeah, it versus some healthy fats, which our body needs. Yeah, so that was a very bad trend, and the obesity rates just climbed.
Exactly. And so we're not really in the low fat trend anymore, but I mean, there still are people that have that mentality in their heads, because with fad diets, if you've been on fad diets for a long time, and especially if you've gone hard at a certain style of fad diet, those ideas get solidified up here, and they are very hard to break. It's hard to uncross those wires.
That's right. So let's tell them a little bit about some of the healthier fats that we like to use.
Good idea.
Like, we all know that avocados are a big thing right now. And yes, they are a healthy fat. They're very good for our bodies, and they have more than just fat in them, but it's a great food and it's a fat. Other oils like avocado oil,
Mhm.
or, there's extra virgin olive oil. And we like to say cold pressed is better.
Mhm.
And the reason is because it's less processed. So we want to get the less processed, the better for our bodies when it comes to fats.
Coconut oil is another good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other things too with fats are like nuts, peanut butter. Those have fats in them as well.
Or nut butters. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So those are the 3 macro categories, which we wanted to spend a little bit more time on those because now one of the trendy things is counting macros, right? Instead of counting carbs or points or calories, now people are counting macros. But we're here to tell you, you don't actually have to count anything. And so we're going to finish off these 7 categories, and then we're going to tell you a little bit more about that.
Yeah, but before we finish off the 7 categories, we're just going to ask that if you like what you're hearing, give us a like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Maybe even hit the bell notification. And
if you feel so inclined, leave a comment below and tell us which diet has been the worst one that you've ever been on, where you've said like, I'm never going to eat carbs again, or protein or whatever. Tell us in the comments below, because I think we always say our least favorite one that we've done was the cabbage soup diet.
That's right. So let us know yours.
Okay, so number 4
for
the 7 classes is vitamins. And let's just put vitamins and minerals together in this, like talk about them together. Those are 2 more categories. So that's number 4 and number 5.
Yeah. And we like to say you're going to get a lot of minerals and vitamins in vegetables and fruit, and we also like to say if you're eating fruit that has the peel, that's even better if you can do that, like an apple, because you're getting a lot more fiber when you do that. And we're going to go on to fiber, but fruits and veggies have we like to say the colors of the rainbow, because variety is the spice of life. Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people, maybe you, take vitamins as supplements as well. Yeah. And, some of the time, I think the reason that we need to add those supplements in is because our food isn't quite as like vitamin and mineral dense as it used to be, because the soil just continues to get churned, right? And the mineral comes from the soil that is absorbed into the product as it's growing into the fruit or the plant or the vegetable. Yeah. Another source is nuts and seeds as well, but that's another plant-based source. So all makes sense. Yes, exactly. Okay, so fiber. Let's talk about fiber. Fiber is really important as well for our bodies because it helps us to eliminate the waste, right? That's right. And that's important. If that isn't working, you aren't healthy. That's the bottom line. So we need to have foods rich in fiber so that everything keeps flowing through. Exactly. So some examples of foods with fibers are things like lentils, oatmeals, vegetables, whole grains. Yeah. There's lots. And so like for whole grains, think about brown is better than white. So instead of, if you're thinking of rice as a whole grain, think of brown rice. It's much higher in your fiber, and it's healthier for your body and healthier for your blood sugar level. Exactly. And the last category, so this is number 7, is water. Now, we all know that we should be drinking water, but lots of us are not doing it. That's right. And so we have our water bottles with us, and we always have them with us. And it's very important to stay hydrated. Water is so important for our bodies, again, to help with the waste excretion, right? And excretion helps to eliminate toxins that are in our body. The more water we drink, the better off we're going to be. And our bodies are made up of around 60% of water. And some organs are like way higher than that. Like the brain is over in the 80%. Yeah. But yeah, every aspect of our body, all our organs need water. Our skin needs water. Exactly. So just a quick rule of thumb for how much water you should be drinking. Take your body weight, divide it in half, and that's how many ounces of water you should be drinking a day. So easy numbers, let's take 200 pounds. You should divide it in half, so 100. And then 100 ounces of water is how much you should be drinking every day. So that might seem overwhelming, but really the bottom line is start drinking water. Yeah, start where you're at. Start with an extra glass and keep adding. That's right. So that's the 7 classes of nutrients. And like we've already said, we are here to tell you that your body actually needs all 7. And so even when you are in weight loss mode, your body needs all 7. And we just told you at the beginning, we both have lost a lot of weight eating all the 7 classes of nutrients. So you can do it too. Exactly. The goal is that we eat them with moderation and portion control in mind.
The goal is that we're eating the better sources of those things. Like with carbs, we're not going to advise that you go eat a whole pile of donuts and
No.
expect to lose weight, because that's not how it works.
The goal is eating to live, not living to eat. So we're fueling our body, and fueling our body means getting the right food in the right amount of food so that we have the energy to do and to live out the purpose that God has for each one of us.
It's actually not about being on a diet. And if you've been around our channel at all, you will know that we don't believe in fad diets. We believe in, like Ruth just said, using food as fuel for our bodies so that our bodies can function properly. And it's about honoring God with the decisions that we make about what we are choosing to consume.
That's right. So that's what we're inviting you to do. So if this is interesting to you and you're looking to find a plan that will help you learn how to fuel your body well to give you the right amount of energy.
And I want to say, maybe reincorporate some of those foods that you've been like afraid to eat, because like the banana is going to make you gain a whole pile of weight. That won't happen.
Yeah. So we want to invite you, if this is interesting to you and you're looking for something right now, we ask that you check out our 10-day weigh down plan. And we're going to put the link in the bio. It is in the bio.
Yeah.
And so we just really want to invite you and give you this opportunity, because we know that it's worked for us and it's working for hundreds and thousands of women already. So it's going to work for you too.
Exactly. And we incorporate all 7 classes of nutrients, because you know what? This isn't a diet. We have to learn how to create a healthy lifestyle for ourselves that we actually love and want to live, because this isn't a diet that's a short-term fix. This is a long-term solution for living our best life.
So we're going to end with this. Treat your body like a temple,
not a trash can.